Okay, folks, yeah, this is pretty interesting. It's colourful. Let's see how we go. I found it on the street, or on the footpath. Let's see how we go with it. If we can make it turn up a nice little treat. It's going to need heaps of enlargement for this. 400, and that's only just the beginning. Okay, let's see what we have. Here, it looks like a piece of fancy note paper with a nice little graphic. Yeah, just a piece of note paper, folks, folded over. See if it's got a sticky bit on it. It hasn't, it's just a piece of note paper. Just a piece of folded piece of note paper with a lovely design on it. So I'm just going to move it away from the edge. Yeah, it's on an angle. We didn't want it on that kind of an angle. Looks shit house. Got to try and twist it the way we want it. Don't know why it was angled like that. Obviously I accidentally bumped it. Try and straighten it up. Drop the dock feeder gently on it. And hope it comes out better. Yeah, still crooked. I don't know why it's on there crookedly. Looks shit house. I don't know why it's doing that. I just can't get it to sit fucking straight. This is so fucking hard to make this one straight. I'm going to hold it down with my hand. Instead of using the dock feeder, I can't rely on that to... Yeah. Yeah, that's better. That's still crooked, but it's nowhere near as crooked as the first. I do think I'll move it across. Yeah, that looks better. Still could move it across. Gonna enlarge it on the vertical. How big gonna make it? Horizontal's gonna be little. Horizontal would be maybe 104 The vertical is going to be 180. So just get rid of that. So this is it. This is what we're utilising, folks, even though it's a little bit on the bent side. I don't know why it had to turn out like that. Do you wonder if this black bit might be a feature rather than a problem? I don't know, folks. Getting some ideas going through my head of how to process this one in an alternative fashion. That looks really quite interesting, but that looks ugly, that edge. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make it maybe into a movement piece. Going to make it a movement piece, something a bit more creative with this. Trickier. This machine needs to be cleaned and lubed to make it easier to move things around like that. And that's come up looking really quite interesting. Not quite what I'm after. I don't like this part there, but when you're doing a movement piece, that often doesn't end up mattering. Okay, we're going to make it into a marbled piece. We're going to utilise this. I'm going to move it around in a marbled fashion. Going to make it into something more interesting. Yeah, that's come up with it looking a lot nicer. Actually looks quite nice. Yeah, folks, it's what you call thinking outside the box. You know, like if one method of something doesn't work, you try another. And my photocopier art is like that, folks. It's like you try one thing and it turns out shit. So you do another, you try something totally different to be more creative, and you try to use the problem as and turn it into an opportunity for improvement. And you can do that with this while I'm doing this photocopier art, folks. So it looked a bit like a bit cookie cutter, just doing a still piece, and I couldn't get it to look good anyway, because I had that problem with crookedness, or the piece of paper wasn't lying flat enough on the glass. So yeah, you try something different, folks, if it doesn't work. I'm going to make it a negative image for this. So I've changed again. We'll see how we go with this. I don't know how it's going to look, but let's see. Try and get more creative, folks. It looks shit house, folks. This one looks really yuck. Sometimes when you try something new, it's always a risk involved. Sometimes, yeah, but in this case, I should be able to go back to where I started, and that was to make a positive image. Just take off this negative. But yeah, it's always hit and miss, folks. And photocopier art is one of those things that can be very, 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 very hit and miss. But you got to take calculated risks in life, and one day I want to do that. I want to redesign the photocopier from scratch. I don't want to stick with... I don't believe that the photocopier industry's being at all creative. They're just about making money, and they don't have any new ideas. They don't take any risks, even though their products are real shit. They're really bad, and they don't work very well, and they're just polluting to the environment because they only last a short time, the hardware. And once the machines reach the end of their useful life, that's it. They go, who knows where they go to die. And a lot of them, I believe, get dumped in third world countries like India and China, where a lot of e-waste goes. And there's a lot of chemicals and a lot of plastics, which is really toxic to the environment. And really, we just can't live like this much longer, folks. We can't treat our environment like a fucking dumping ground or a toilet. And that's one thing I'd like to do when I become CEO of a future photocopier company, is making sure that countries, including third world countries, indeed have toilets, toilet facilities, sanitation and all that. And not only just to provide the toilets as a one-off thing, to keep them maintained, to make sure that they get fixed when they break or serviced when needed, when it looks like they're going to break. So, you got to fucking look after your fellow human if you're rich and got power. And I'm not going to take that for granted, folks. I'm not going to take my affluence for granted and treat it like it's just for me. It's got to be shared with the human race. You've got to make an effort to help others, not just keep it to yourself or your colleagues or your family. You've got to spread it around. You've got to you're the one that's in control. You've got to fucking step up to the plate and show you're responsible and that you care. And that's really, the world needs that. It's really a money-fucked world we live in, and you can see it everywhere and every day. It's shit. Anyway, enough of that. Let's see how we go with this piece. Yeah. And that's come up looking really quite a treat. I think we can now call this demo quits.